Mark Santiago here, and welcome to the Empowered AF podcast, where each episode we share powerful strategies to help you communicate, act, and lead like an empowered man. Thanks for joining me. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this high level, and I'm going to break down first. The gray is his girlfriend / wife, and the blue is him. And I'm going to look at both sides of the spectrum. I'm going to try to understand her side and your side, and I'll then give you a perspective of what I think is happening here. So I don't know the context of this. I assume there was some sort of book you guys were wanting to read together. And so therefore you're asking whether or not she did. She said, I haven't had time to finish the first chapter. I've been on the go. I'm going to take it to work with me though. Okay. So she just explained your situation, or her situation, where she was at. You had a response. Then her response is, okay, Josh, I can't make you happy. So she's frustrated and she responds to you. Then tell me you're done, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm sorry you can't handle not being my main priority. Right now, I am done because you do nothing but criticize. Okay. So now she's going on the defense. Okay. She starts out offensive now, or defensive now. She's going on offense. Then she goes, you choose to believe that if you weren't a priority, I wouldn't be wasting my time. Okay. So essentially she's, first is giving an answer of saying, this is what I feel, or this is what's going on. I haven't had time to finish it. I plan on doing it, is essentially what she's saying. And now let's look at Josh's responses. So his first word, shocker. Okay, so that's very offended word. And so by him introducing this word to the situation, it automatically puts the other person on the defense. Okay, so he responded out of his own emotions, and those emotions then led to a non-productive conversation moving forward. So as the man, I do believe that you have the ability to set the tone for how you want to lead the conversation. In our VIP program, we use terminology called setting the narrative. And that's where when our wife says something or our girlfriend says something, we set the narrative back so they know that we understand what is actually being said. And so you said, shocker, you had time. You chose to use it in other ways. It's always something with you. So he got very big with what we call you statements or weak statements and started accusing her. So then she gets defensive. Okay, I can't make you happy. So her response of I can't make you happy then says to you, actually, she feels frustrated because she's tried to give you the reason, but you weren't satisfied with that reason. And because you weren't satisfied with that reason, you start to accuse her of things that may or may not be true. Whether they're true or not, I don't know. But when I'm looking at this conversation, what I'm seeing is you went on the offense and started attacking her essentially. So she felt defensive. And then you say, then tell me you're done so I can have some closure. What you're saying is, I'm frustrated, I'm sad, I'm upset, and I don't know what to do with those feelings. So I just need you to tell me that you're done so I can move on. You're asking permission from her to move on, which in reality isn't up to her. It's up to you. Like, this is where men fail to lead, because it's not up to her to bring you closure. It's up to yourself. Okay. So when you're saying, I just need you to tell me I'm done, that's you not leading. That's you falling behind. And then she says, I'm sorry you can't handle not being my main priority. Now, again, she's offended now, right? I'm sorry you can't handle me not being my main priority. Right now, I'm done because you do nothing but criticize. So she's now hurt because you're hurt. So it's two offenses don't make a right. Okay. You're offended. She's now offended. So now no one's going to get anywhere in this. And really, it was an opportunity for her to set the tone and say, hey, this is what I think you're saying. And instead of doing that, she just got defensive herself. So I'm sorry you can't handle not being my main priority. What she's trying to say is you're not her main priority anymore. But the fact is, she sounds willing to actually read this book. She sounds like she actually still wants you to be a priority. But because you're being an asshole, she doesn't want to make you a priority. And so therefore, she's like, well, fuck you then. I'm not going to make you my priority. You do nothing but criticize. She feels contempt. Contempt is one of the four horsemen. Go look up the Gottman Institute. Go look up the four horsemen of a relationship. Contempt is one of them. She feels your contempt for her. And then you get defensive and you say, I didn't criticize you at all. I just acknowledged that you told me you would do something 3 different times and you chose not to. I'm not a priority to you at all. Boo, right? You're just like, I'm not this, I'm not that. You're basically now whining like a little bitch. Okay. So now once a woman sees this and hears this, she will get defensive. And she's like, well, fuck you. You're not even a leader. You're a fucking pussy. Because that's basically what the way you are acting is. I didn't criticize you, defensive. I just acknowledged you told me you would do something. You chose not to. Okay. You. All that is bullshit. Okay. I will go back and I will tell you how you could have answered each of these in a second, but I'm not a priority to you at all. That's you again, crying. You're crying like a little boy inside. You don't know how to express it. So you get mad, right? Your anger is a secondary emotion because you have something behind that and you don't know how to actually process and communicate that outward. You could just forget the right now part of your statement. Okay. Now you're just like, fuck you. You could just now get the, you see how it just like it builds and it builds and builds. Like her simple answer was simple enough, but you like couldn't let it go. And now you're just like so full of just anger and you're pissed off. Guaranteed, this has probably been going on for a long time with you guys. And this has been building up and building up and building up. And then she says, you chose to believe that. If you weren't a priority, I wouldn't waste my time responding. Wow. She fucking put you in your place. What she's saying is, hey, look, you may not be my main priority right now, but you're still a priority. You know what that says? She's saying, I still care about you. I still love you. I still want to try. But right now you're making it very hard for me. And you don't know how to respond to that. So you say, this is going beyond my boundary. What fucking boundary? What boundary? If you want to have a conversation, I'll answer the phone. I'm confused by this. I really am confused by this because I didn't hear about it. Maybe you had a boundary earlier, but even still, what is the actual boundary? That she was being rude, that she was being, what? If you look at this conversation, you were the one who antagonized her. You were the one who brought all of this out. And now you're basically saying, oh, never mind. I'm not going to have a text conversation with you. I'll answer the phone. Okay. And I get that because you might have heard us talk about the idea of walking away from conversations when they get too hard, but that's not how it should be done at this point. All right. So let's go back. This time, what I want to do is I want to go through it. I want to give you the healthy responses. Okay. Guys, everybody pay attention to this, because this is the shit that gets all of you in trouble. This is why you're having all these arguments. This is why you're like having so many fucking problems. First of all, you didn't slow the fuck down. Okay. That's number one. You got to slow the fuck down. When you are texting somebody, you have got to slow down and not respond out of your anger, not respond out of this evil place inside of you that's just angry with her because she didn't do something. You basically felt let down and you didn't feel like she cared about you. And so instead of expressing that, you say, shocker, you had time, you did da, 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 da. You're expressing your disappointment, but from an unhealthy place. And so your girlfriend, wife, whatever she is, has no real opportunity to say anything to the contrary because she feels defeated the second you start doing that. The second you start accusing her, she now goes on the defense, says, okay, Josh, I can't make you happy. So here's how you could have responded to her. I haven't had time to finish the first chapter. I've been on the go. I'm going to take it to work with me, though. Okay, awesome. Please let me know when you have it done. Ding, ding, ding. Bells are going. That's all you had to fucking say. Okay, awesome. Let me know when you had a chance to, let me know when it's done. Let me know when it's finished. And then you give her a day. Hey, just checking in. Did you have a chance to look at it? Maybe this is your 13th time. Maybe you feel like she's just ignoring you, but that's an opportunity for you to say, hey, it feels like you're ignoring me, or hey, it feels like you're not making this a priority. Is this a priority? And if it's not, I would just like to know. Like, that's simple communication. But because you're so upset, because you're so pissed off, because you're so all of these things, it's impossible for you to understand that. And then you say you had time, you accuse her, whatever. She says, okay, Josh, I can't make you happy. So now she's defensive. And when she's defensive, it's an opportunity for you to reflect back. Oh my gosh, I obviously said something that made her offended. Hey, was there something I said? What makes you think that? Or what's going on here? What I hear you saying is this. Like, you can give different responses to be more empathetic and actually hear her. Why does she feel frustrated? Be fucking curious. Some of you guys are just not curious at all. Like, you don't really care. You just want her to love you like she's your possession. You just want her to do what she wants you to do. But do you actually care? Are you actually curious about what's going on in her life? Like, are you willing to go to bat for this person and actually hear her for who she is and what she is actually saying? That's a question. You tell me you're done, so I can have some closure, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so whatever. Yeah, that is not the response there. I'm sorry you can't handle not being my main priority. Right now, I'm done because you do nothing but criticize. Oh my gosh, It's clear that you want me to be a priority, but right now you're taking a break from that. I understand. Do you see how like everything that you're saying or that Josh was saying could have easily been flipped the other way? And instead of it being like, fuck you and this and that, and you're doing this and criticizing and all this stuff, you just slow down and go, oh, what she's actually saying is she's sad and she's frustrated because she doesn't believe the guy that she still loves thinks that he's a priority to her. That makes her sad. Now, she didn't know how to communicate that in a healthy way. She says, I'm sorry, you can't handle not blah, 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 right? She's getting out of her defensive nature. Right now, I'm done because you do nothing but criticize. She feels like you are just criticizing her. So again, it would have been an opportunity for you to say, oh my gosh, or wow, babe, you feel like I'm criticizing you, or I'm sorry that my actions, or I'm sorry that my words, I'm sorry that these things are causing that kind of reaction inside of you. That wasn't my intention. You just go and I don't criticize at all. I just acknowledge this, blah, 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 blah. Instead of admitting anything, you don't admit shit in any of this. Like you don't take ownership for nothing, right? And that's a big thing for us is we want to own our side of the equation because at the end of the day, if this thing is going south, it's not going to be because of us. It's not going to be because of the way we looked at things. It's going to be because they ultimately didn't want to change. And to me, when I'm reading this, I see a woman who wants to grow and wants to change. What I see on the guy side is a guy who doesn't want to grow and he's making excuses. Simple as that. You can just forget the right now part of your statement. I mean, basically, you've become like a child at this point. Basically, you've come to a place where you're just acting like a 6-year-old that says, fine, fuck you. I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go play somewhere else because I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm just not going to be your friend. And that's basically what you're saying because you're coming at it from this emotional place. And that's what you feel like in the moment. You feel totally disempowered. You feel totally like a little boy with a little penis. And that's what happens in these situations because men don't know how to articulate those feelings. And guys, no one's immune from this. There's not one man that's not immune from this. I didn't come out of the womb being able to speak to my wife or speak to my girlfriend or speak to women this way. This takes years and years of development and practice. Obviously, there's tools and stuff we can shortcut that process for you in the VIP program. But in general, like there's tools to shortcut that so that you can start to empathetically and reflectively listen and hear and make her feel heard and understood because that's all she's saying. That's all she's saying is she wants to be heard and understood. She's even saying you're a priority. You may not be the main priority. That's an opportunity for you to say, oh my gosh, maybe you haven't felt like you're the main priority in my life, but I want you to be the main priority in my life. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to say, babe, take your time or let me know when you can get that book done. I would love it if we can meet up again by Wednesday, or I'd love it again if we can, do you think you could have it done by Thursday so we could talk about it? Then you're at least putting expectations out. And then she's like, you chose to believe that. If you weren't a priority, I wouldn't be wasting my time responding. Again, she's literally telling you, yeah, you are a priority to me and I wouldn't have wasted my time had you not been. But at this point, you keep pushing her further and further and further and further away. I see this all the time with fighting couples because really there's pride and there's hurt and there's arrogance and all these things come from that childlike place inside of us where our emotions are been arrested development. It's an area where we just haven't developed properly. And women will frustrate the fuck out of you because they speak a different language than you. Men speak like rah, 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 and women are just like 100-mile-an-hour words and they all these things. So men don't know how to articulate what they feel. They just feel it and they go do it, right? Like you feel them, you feel strong, so you go hit a ball. You feel strong, so you go punch a guy. You feel strong, so you go do this, right? We're very physical. With women, it's very emotional. And with women, you have to slow down. You have to be brief about what you're saying because you want to come at it from this place of strength. Even says there's a proverb that says even a man with few words can look wise. I just butchered that, but basically people that don't speak as much can actually seem wise. And it's true, right? The less you use, the less you speak, the more powerful it tends to be. And so in this situation, I think if you would have slowed down, if you would have actually heard what she's actually saying, and dude, I love like messenger/text for these types of conversations in a sense, because you can actually slow down. You don't have to respond in the moment and you can read and digest and go, oh, this is what she's saying, but you have to want that. So guys, hopefully this was impactful for you. I don't normally do these kinds of things, but I saw it on there. Josh, if you have further questions, feel free to comment on there. Guys, if you have any comments, questions, I've got to wrap up. I've got to get on the call, but hopefully this was impactful for you and you learned some things about how we coach in the Empowered Man VIP program. See you.
Hey, if what you heard today really resonated with you and you want to connect with me, then here's what I want you to do. Pull out your phone right now and go to empoweredman.co/group. That's empoweredman.co, not com.co/group. So you can join our free Facebook group and connect with me there. We also have a ton of free content and trainings in that group to help you when you join. So until then, this is Mark signing off on Empowered AF.